Warrior Talk After Show would not be possible without our incredible sponsors: APO Express, Candyland, 6112 Entertainment, the Loma Theater, and Quesuava Cafe. And now, presenting to you, your hosts, Moises Castillo and Tim Apodaca. This is the Warrior Talk After Show. Hello, Warrior Nation. Welcome back to the Warrior Talk After Show. After another great week of sports and football, we have a whole bunch to report on today. The Warriors took on the Santa Fe Indian School Braves yesterday night, as a matter of fact, with a 50-0 deficit right before the half. I just want to go ahead and throw it out there. The Warrior Football is doing their annual Snap Race fundraiser. If you wish to contribute, all proceeds from the fundraiser will go directly to your favorite football team, the Socorro Warriors. To donate, find a football player, and they will have all the information necessary. With that being said, I would like to pass it on to my co-host, Tim. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right, Moy. I'm ready for this little telecast. We had a lot of exciting things go on yesterday in the Warrior game against Santa Fe, and I believe it's like we had predicted that the first interview that we did that this really turning around. It's looking good.
You know, I had brought it up. I had recorded the Warrior Talk podcast today with three of the boys, Diego Chavez, Chase Boykin, and Isaiah Ocampo. And I brought it up to them that in my 4 years of playing football under Coach Ocampo, we were always good, but we never beat anybody before the half. And so, I mean, I don't care if it's a bad team, good team, whatever. You got to be a good team to beat someone before the game even had a chance to end.
Yeah. It was exciting. The guys showed up to play football. They played a real good game. It looked like everybody was in sync and they were playing right. The only thing that I really is Santa Fe to me right from the kickoff came out a little bit soft, and I'm not saying that they're not a good football team or a hard team to play, but maybe Socorro made them look that bad, I mean, bad is bad. When you're playing bad, you're playing real bad, and for somebody to be taken out at halftime by 50 points, you played a bad game. And that goes both ways, because we'd be saying the same thing if it was the Warriors. It's just the Warriors came out and they really showed that, they took the loss against Robertson last week personal. And you could tell it showed, right? Yeah, no doubt about it. Like I said, they played in unison. They played a good game, and they were well focused this time. You could tell that was going on.
Well, and there was a lot of times throughout the game where the Santa Fe Indian School, they just kicked themselves. They kicked themselves in their own butt. They shot themselves in the foot. They weren't performing at the caliber that they're used to.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning of the second half, I thought they were starting to pull it back together after they made that 12-yard carry, and they were progressing the ball a little bit against the Warriors. But right from the beginning, with who was it? Silva, when he caught the ball right at the beginning of the game. And he took that down right away for 25 yards. And he made it look so easy against these guys. And then, what did it take? Four plays in that whole series to make a touchdown.
Yeah, and it was insane, too, the ease. Everything looked very textbook. Everything looked like exactly how it was drawn out on the play sheet at the beginning of the week was exactly how they were executing. I mean, as you could see, they had when they ran in for their touchdown, they ran kind of I don't know, it was a wonky type of play, that homeboy came down under the middle, the other one came up top, all of a sudden somebody's running in for a touchdown. I don't even think the fans knew what happened, and that just goes to tell you how well prepared they were.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we were talking about the line last week against Robertson, they were getting it together. It's just that they were I'm not saying confused, but Robertson had some moves that they were pulling, and this time, these guys were so well tuned that these guys were blocking, they were plugging up the line, nobody was getting by them. Even the people playing outside were getting to the quarterback, they were getting to the running back, they were just killing the play in the backfield, when they get to the secondary.
And the Warrior defense, I just want to say, like, that was, they're showing that there's something to be reckoned with now, It's become more of a hassle to try to break through the front lines. As you can see, Santa Fe Indian School hardly made it past their own line of scrimmage, and they only ever made it on the Warrior side of the ball one time, and that was right before the half. And I think that's because Coach had the second and third string in, So it's amazing the improvement that they've made within 1 week.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is they put it together. These guys, I think, have always had it in them. Like I was telling you last week, their line is big. They're huge guys, and they're very talented. As they showed yesterday, they played a very good game. And we even brought it up. I think in one segment of the show yesterday that Isaiah, with the form and the technique that he's got, being able to set in the backfield and launch that ball, it's like shooting from the hip, man. He became a gunslinger out there.
And I think that was a true showcase of his quarterback abilities yesterday. Because you really saw him having fun out there. It wasn't a task. He, of course, you have your plays to follow and all that good stuff, but he was just sitting out there, and like you said, he was gunslinging. Everything was a shootout.
Yeah, and then his receivers were spot on. I mean, we'd mentioned Alex Amato coming through, in plays and doing his thing. Jay Lee, spectacular. He's doing real good. And, all the other guys, all the other receivers and stuff that were contributed to what was going on. It was just really a good, heartfelt game that I really enjoyed watching it because it was really fun.
And speaking of the heartfelt portion of it, I want to give a big shout out to Felipe Valles. Yeah. Felipe Valles is a senior for the class of 2024. That would be this year, right?
Right.
For the class of 2024. And I think that was really good on Socorro's coaching staff and the community members. Felipe had his first start as an offensive lineman for his senior year against Santa Fe Indian School Braves. And you know what? You want to talk about heartfelt. I mean, his parents, I had the chance to talk to his mom before the game, and she was just, a little worried about it, wasn't sure how it was going to go. But then, after the game, just the response from the community, I think that made, of course, the win is a very special part of last night, but that also brought it all together, too.
Yeah, you really can't. There's not a lot of words that can describe the feeling that I think all the fans, all of us know what's going on, and for Felipe to get out there and line up, and that must have meant the world to him, and it was such a great feeling, and I'm so proud to be part of the, even the fans, be part of the game, part of the team, and the way the team congratulated him after that play. Kudos to him.
Yeah, I mean, and this isn't just the first time that this has happened for Socorro Warriors, but you know what? This felt like one of the most memorable, most special moments, especially after the victory. And then, of course, I'm not sure if you noticed, but last night's game, there was a lot of stuff planned for halftime. Community is starting to get involved with football again.
Yeah, it's great. That it's like a turn of events for, everybody going out there to shine. And I think if you give the kids that opportunity, it takes their mind off of the dumb things that go on,
Yeah.
And like us, the guys that are playing this game, to be well disciplined, well mannered, respectful, and everything else that it takes to be a good football player. these guys show the poise and everything that and the talent that they've got. They put it together, and man, they're showing off real good talent.
Well, you want to talk about talent? I'll go ahead and throw a little funny thing in there. The Charisma Blues dance team, they went ahead and continued on with their halftime performance, but I couldn't help but notice that half of the Warrior football team was joining them in their routine. I'm not sure if you saw that.
yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, but circling back to the game, so a couple of shout outs I want to give to. I want to give a shout out to number 20 Chase Boykin and number 74 David Gutierrez. According to my sheets, anyway, they seem to be leading the team in tackles. Almost hand in hand with each other. Another big shout out to Alex Amato for making, I believe, two or three of the touchdowns last night.
Yeah, you got a couple of them.
Yeah, it was. Well, you said it best. Teams coming together,
right? And we had. Wow, how many did you count? How many touchdowns were there all together? Like 7?
Oh shoot.
21. That would be.
Let me go ahead and pull out the calculator. See, because it all started in the first half, and I don't know if we talked about this already, but there was a surprise 2-point conversion. Okay, you want to talk about not knowing what was going on? There was a surprise 2-point conversion where the Warriors just, they capitalized on a almost deadly situation. See, what had happened was the Warriors went ahead and they snapped the ball for a routine kick, and they were going up just for the extra point, the regular 7 points. The snap was bad, and Jay Lee went ahead and reacted on instinct and just picked it up and ran it in the outside, and you couldn't ask for a better play. Put up eight points right away on the board to start the game. I mean, you want to talk about tempo? I mean, you were mentioning that earlier.
That's keeping your head in the game and following that ball and being aggressive. That you can't ask for any more than that.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the defensive side of the ball, like I mentioned earlier, with the tackle counts, I mean, our defense was just killing them. They gave us a lot of promising glimpses of old Warrior football, smash mouth football.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I had the opportunity to say hello to Coach Al Ocampo last night, and he had just the biggest smile on his face after a 50-0 deficit before the half.
Yeah.
So I could only imagine that he was super proud of the boys that night.
Yeah, and a good contributor to that whole thing that started even the turnaround on the turnovers was number 40, that Jeremiah Garza.
Yeah, he really came in and
he caused that fumble on the 28-yard line.
Well, there was another fumble caused and recovered by number 77 Pete.
Right. Pete Lopez.
There it is. I forget his name. His last name, Lopez. Pete Lopez. He caused a fumble and recovered. I mean, there were 2 turnovers on fumbles by 2 separate Warriors. You know what I mean? That's really good, as a matter of fact.
Well, considering the game, I hate to bring the game from last week, but against Robertson, I had mentioned that Pete Lopez was one of the impact players of that game because he did a lot. He did a lot up on the line, and he made a lot of things not happen for the Cardinals. Were they the Cardinals? Yeah.
Yeah, the Cardinals.
Man, I can't remember which games I've been watching lately.
You know what? I wish I couldn't remember them. God dang Cardinals.
But then, anyway, for Jeremiah to turn it on, get the first turnover on the 28th, and then that resulted in a score right off the bat. Pulling them up, and they were feeding off of that stuff. So everything everybody was doing was feeding. They were feeding off each other.
Yeah, and that's really good when your team is able to feed off of each other, like you say. You know what I mean? It kind of helps them out. Even if something bad were to happen, they had so much good energy on the sideline, on the field. There was really no no taking down the Warriors last night. They were the Warriors.
Yeah, and then like we are talking about with Jeremiah, his arm was lethal out there just as well as that quarterback keeper that he did to make the third touchdown.
You mean Isaiah, right?
Isaiah, yeah. I mean Isaiah was that's outstanding. Just the speed he's got, the way he can juke and duke around those piles and stuff.
And I'm really happy to see him, acting on instinct. Not because see, the way that I always understood it was a play was like a blueprint. You know what I mean, or guidelines.
Right.
But very seldom does a play happen the way that it's written out on a piece of paper. So kudos to him for acting on instinct a lot throughout the game.
Yeah, you can do that when you feel comfortable. When you've got like that offensive line, wow, they gave him time. Just because in the last game I could see Ocampo setting back, and he's the type that he likes to set his feet. This guy's he's a slinger. He'll shoot it and he hits his target. But if you don't give him the time, then like any quarterback, you disrupt his actions, and he can't set. Then he's throwing on a whim, but not saying on a whim. But it's a little harder to be precise as opposed to when you can get your quarterback to, like in the pros, you give them enough time. Oh man, they're hitting everybody.
And I had the opportunity to talk with one of the O linemen earlier today, Diego Chavez. And, like you had mentioned last week, he was a big contributor, too,
Yep.
And just a strong kid all around.
He's impact.
You want to talk about a kid who wants to do nothing but succeed for his team, you know what I mean? And that shows on the field. And with the O-line, him along with the rest of everyone else, maybe I'm a little biased, but I feel like you have to have a strong front line in order to make a play possible.
Yep.
And the way that I think about it is like a car. Okay, you could have a car, you could have all the parts on it, the wheels and stuff like that, but without the motor, that thing ain't moving nowhere. And
Right.
and in a football field, I feel like the O-line is the motor. Because without a strong O-line, you're not making any plays, you're not doing nothing. And that showed because when the Warriors crushed down on the Braves O-line, they were making no forward progress. They were not moving.
Right.
And that's just...
Well, the problem is like with those guys last night, you can get past the front line, but once you get in the back and you've got Jacob Angel back there waiting for you, and not waiting, he's already in hot pursuit.
Yeah.
So by the time he gets you, he got a couple good hits last night. I like watching him play. He's an exciting player. He gets in there and he's pretty tough, and he's just waiting back there, lurking in the back, waiting for you to come out with the ball so that he can either knock it out of your hands or really hit you good.
There's a reason that when he was little, we used to call him Jake the Snake, because you don't ever see him, but he's just coming.
Right.
He's just coming, and he's ready to strike at any given moment.
I was watching him, I'd watched him a little bit close last night. Right. He tiptoes and he figures out who's got it and which way they're going, and man, he takes off. Once he opens up, he's going to contact you if you make it to the secondary.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? And that's the same with, our good friend Chase Boykin over here.
He's a wrecking ball.
And he's got a very wide build on him. And
Yep.
that's the thing. I'm very intrigued with the fact that he can I'm intrigued at his game altogether. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just the way that he runs for his size, his stature, it's awesome.
But that being said, to play that middle linebacker position, you've got to have speed and knowledge, and because that's pretty tough,
I learned today, because I talked with him as well, that apparently he's been playing club football in Texas for just about all of his life. So that gives you the knowledge.
There you go. That's the reason he came out so much during the Cardinal game. When you told me he was a freshman, I thought, what? But okay, now you
Yeah,
make it
but
sense now.
yeah, apparently, per his own words, he has, a trainer. He's been playing club ball since he could walk, and he still plays club ball to this day. I mean, you could expect to see him travel and play even during the off season.
I think of him when you mention Chase Boykin, and I can picture number 20. I All I can see is a fullback. They got him listed at running back and the linebacker position and stuff. But this guy is like some of the powerhouse fullbacks that I've seen in pro and college football, and he fits that bill. When you're built low to the ground and you've got the power that he has, you can do some dynamic things on the field because you're going to knock people off of you.
And he says that it would be a dream come true for him to play for the for Texas A&M Aggies. And you know what? I feel like if he keeps going at the rate that he is, you know what I mean, just keeps working out, keeps playing hard and training, that might not be too far-fetched.
Well, anybody's got that opportunity. I mean,
right?
not per se, but you have the chance. It's what you make it.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm really glad I got to conversate with the kid today because you could just tell, just by how highly he speaks of the sport itself, that it makes all the sense as to why he is so successful.
Man, when you called me up yesterday evening and told me you were gonna do the interview with him yesterday, I didn't have time to. I had to go work this morning, so I wasn't able to make it to the interview. But I would have sure liked to have been there to listen to the guys and hear what they had to say. But I'll listen to your Warrior Talk podcast and hear it from there and just get a good sense on how the guys feel about the game and for everything that's going on. But they played a heck of a game. To everybody that made an impact on that game last night, I feel it was all of them. Even the guys on the sideline, everybody, just coaches, everything was all together. It was a very good win.
And on something other than the football game itself, I mean, obviously it's all the football game, but on something other, just want to give a big shout out to the new unannounced Socorro Warrior band that made an appearance last night. That was something we haven't seen in 6 years at Socorro High School, and it was really something awesome, and it really got the dance team, the Charisma Blues, going. It got the Socorro cheer team, all of the supporters, all of the fans involved in Warrior Nation. Everybody was really pleased by it, and so I mean, big shout out to the new and improved Socorro Warrior band.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, all of them. Like I say, everybody that was out on that field last night was even the community, the fans. Everybody was really into it, and it was super festive time. We were all celebrating, and the team was really awesome. Hell, they even came over and gave the Warrior song. So that was good.
Oh yeah, one of these days I'll be able to make it out of the press box in enough time to actually record that song, and I'll be able to post it for the viewers and listeners out there. But it was just an all around good night. It was really fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then the other guys that we had down were Kenyon Scarborough made a touchdown.
You know what? And before you continue on though, let's take a second to talk about Mr. Number 8.
Yep.
Cause man, he's doing work out there.
Yeah, he's second to none. I mean, he's playing hard for that position he's got. He's going to keep it all the way through the year. Pray to God that he stays healthy and nobody gives him any cheap shots. As we get into mid-season and stuff, you got to be careful. So all you guys out there, be sure you watch for each other because it gets pretty hectic. It gets very tactical, and you want to have each other's back. So you guys be careful going in deeper into the season. You guys have a pretty good opponent next week, and I think the Bears they're still pretty good.
You know what? The Bears, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think the Warriors and the Bears is going to be one of the best games of the season.
Right.
I mean that honestly.
Yeah, yeah. They've got a line that's probably equivalent to ours, both sides, and they're going to come out swinging. I don't care how you look at it; they're going to come out swinging, especially when they hear what happened last night. They're going to try to prove to you guys out there. I'm speaking to the club. They're going to try to prove to you guys that you didn't do what you did, but do it. Show them who you are. Show them you are the Warriors.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Just to let the viewers and listeners know, me and Tim will be out there in Estancia giving you live updates throughout the game, and of course, everything Socorro Warriors.
And then I want to continue on that. Okay, and the other touchdown we had was, I believe it was Jacob Angel, and he got one in there. Brandon Dow. Yeah, number 21, I believe, or I
think that's
Caden Dow. Caden
Dow. Yeah, Caden Dow. And you know what? And I want to commend him for his kicking last night as well.
Yeah,
because
good.
His kickoffs, they didn't have to punt, so
right.
That's really good. But his kickoffs and his extra points, Caden Dow, he's coming in. I believe he's a second-year kicker now, second or third-year kicker, and man, he's doing good.
Third-year kicker. So then he was kicking when you were playing football?
I want to say yes, because I want to say this is his senior year, but I'm not sure if he played his freshman year.
Oh, yeah, because you guys had
Josh Walsh.
Josh Walsh kicking. So, yeah, he was probably... I do remember him coming out, though, and that's when Walsh's parents were kind of pissed off or ragged out because they said, I don't know why he's not kicking. But yeah. I think he missed like a couple field goals during the game, and he was just on a little bit of a slump. So I believe, I'm not real sure, but I think they gave Dow the opportunity to go out there and try a couple field goals.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Well, and then when Josh had made his exit from the Warriors and had moved over to Oregon Mountain High School, Caden took the reins in, and man, he hasn't let go of them since, and he's only shown improvement.
Yeah. I just hope that story is correct the way I said it, because I don't remember too well past the last game that they played.
Right.
But I do remember some stuff, and whenever we get to talking about what the boys did and who's played and all that, it's hard, like you're saying, I can't remember whether he was a freshman then or how it worked out. But anyway, I do remember him kicking before. And then we had let's see that Caden Dowell made a touchdown, and then let's see, do we have I know that I've got Chase Boykins made the final touchdown, didn't he, at the end of the game?
So get this.
49? What?
So that final touchdown that Chase Boykin had made, that was his first ever high school career touchdown.
And that was the game-ending touchdown after the
what a first, huh?
Yeah. To take him out like that, that was pretty good.
It's like hitting a walk-off home run, your first ever at bat.
Yep. And but all the rest of the guys, there's some guys we didn't mention that really contributed, and I just want to shout out to those guys and everybody on that team. Congratulations for winning that game. Congratulations for the performance that you did, and I just wanted to go over one thing with all of us. I don't know, did you watch the news either last night or night before last?
I did not.
We want to be real careful, you guys, and this is in the event in the part of safety. We want you guys to understand that safety is a two-way street. We want you guys to understand that if you guys get hurt out there and you go under this concussion protocol system, you need to let your coaches know whether or not you're hurting. Don't try to be too macho at this state of the game, because it's not going to get you anywhere. If you have any symptoms of concussions, and I'm asking you, please let your coaches know about it. Don't try to stay in the game. Make sure that you get the help that you need, and we're going to try to pass this on to everybody so that everybody understands that it's not only getting hit and just trying to get through it and make the best of it, but you also have to, after you've gotten hit, let everybody know whether you feeling bad. Like some of the symptoms of the concussion that you want to look for, if you have a worsening headache, if the headache continues, if you get an increased drowsiness, or you feel weak, like you're walking around and you start stumbling around and things are getting kind of away from you, let somebody know. If you're getting weakness and numbness, and it doesn't matter, any of your appendages, your feet, your hands, anywhere, let your coaches know. If you got decreased coordination, like I was saying a little while ago, that is one of the major things that you do want to sit out. You don't want to get back in the game because of the kid that got killed there in the South District. And it's something you need to watch out for anymore. It's nothing to just put to the side. You guys be careful and take care of yourselves while you're out there. But your coaches aren't going to know unless you tell your coaches how you're feeling. So please let them know, and be vigilant on it, and you'll last a lot longer. And we want to see you guys playing all the way to the end of the year, all the way up till you guys graduate from high school, and play safe. That's all I'm asking, and play right.
Well, I think that's a great point there. I had not watched the news, but I did hear about the player that had been killed, and I mean it's a huge risk, especially in contact sports. The helmets are made there to protect you, but they're not. They're made there to protect you and prevent head injury, but it doesn't mean that you're invincible.
The bad thing about it is this young man, it was throughout a series of hits that he had taken, and they were minimal. They were minor hits, and he wouldn't report, to the coach or anybody. He would just take it, go to the side, and walk it off, And if you're doing that kind of stuff, it's not going to help your career. It's not going to help your health. It's not going to get anybody anywhere.
Just remember, athletes, your life right now as a high school student may revolve around a sport, but that is not your life. There are more things to aspire to do and to live for. And it's like my grandfather said, it's a huge safety risk. So if you have a head injury, let it be known. If you feel worsening headache, drowsiness, let it be known. And coaches, if your player athlete, they become incoherent, start slurring and stuff like that, make the call. Make the call.
After let's see, I believe it was Jake Lee who got hit towards the end of the game when he caught that ball, I don't know, for like 30, 40 yards, and he ran smack dab into one of the Santa Fe guys,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like it probably knocked the air out of him or something. But he got down on the ground.
Yeah.
And good thing he rested. He did what he did, got his bearings back and all that stuff. And I was very impressed that when he did go to the sideline, Coach Lee went right to him. I could see he was looking into his eyes and doing some of the stuff. So, that's a good feeling. And as one of the not as one of the parents in the audience, but I'm sure that the parents in the audience were relieved to see that Coach Lee took the initiative to do the concussion protocol. And thank you, Coach, for doing that, because we believe in it, and it's very important that you guys do that.
And coming from a player's standpoint, we have, at least now on the current coaching staff, we have two paramedics, one ex-paramedic and the other current paramedic on the coaching staff. And anytime I would take a heavy hit, which was pretty frequently, I was always given a concussion protocol, and it was always determined whether or not I was fit to play or not to play.
Right. And then, so all of you guys that are playing on the defensive line, the offensive line, if anything, if you get any of the symptoms that I had just gone over, and you feel them for a little bit of a lengthy time, make sure you let the coaches know. And that way, because sitting out a couple plays or anything like that, or getting your head back in it, is nothing wrong with that. You're not losing any ground, and you might be doing yourself a favor in the long run. But all these guys, we've got a whole lot of offensive and defensive linemen that are on this roster, and the only reason I say it is because, I like when you were playing football and stuff, I used to worry a lot about that, especially the way the guys want to hit these days. Of course it's football. Football's football. I love the getting in the trenches and the hitting and all that other stuff, but be real careful about it, and that's probably the last word I want to say about it. But I did want to mention it because we're at the opening of the season. We're going to go up against some pretty strong teams going on, and we got Hope Christian coming on, the one we were talking about earlier. We're going to find out the definition of their play skills. We'll let the Warriors test that, and it's going to be great interviewing some of the guys off the team when that game goes on.
I would love to, as part of the after show, at least interview one guy, to kind of give his words and thoughts. You know what I mean? Just something quick. And so, if it's possible, if we're able to get the scheduling correct and whatnot, then you could expect to hear every once in a while, a Warrior football star coming onto the show.
Kind of, it's totally up to you, but kind of what I was thinking is, we'd get together after the end of the game and establish who the impact player is, and then go do a short interview with him at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be pretty neat.
That was for the Warrior Talk podcast. That kind of helped me out because I was in a toss up. Okay, I was between I was between the three impact players of the game. And I just couldn't make the decision on which one did better than who, so I had all three of them on earlier today, and you can be sure and listen to what they have to say on the Warrior Talk podcast, be posted on Sunday. But it's really interesting to hear what the guys say because sometimes it's the same exact thing, and other times it's completely different.
Yeah,
it's just I guess it varies from player to player.
Well, what'd be interesting for me is if we would have started this earlier and got the feel of the game off of one of the impact players when they played Robertson, as opposed to the difference in the game from when they played Santa Fe last night. And I think that would be really neat to hear the difference in there's either not skepticism, but in the attitude of what they present.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, that'll get everybody. That'll get our hearing audience and everybody else. I think it'd be great.
Well, do you have anything else for the Warrior Nation?
No, all I want to do is again tell these guys that they did an excellent job. Kudos to all of you guys that made an effort and worked double hard at getting this win because. I mean, hey, that's something to talk about. We'll be talking about it all the way to the end of the year at the 50 to nothing at halftime, and very good game. You guys pulled it off real nice, and it was fun to watch you guys play last night.
You know what? I couldn't agree more, and I'm very glad that we were able to be a part of, kind of a moment in history, because this is the first time in a long time that there was a 50-0 before half. But ladies and gentlemen, you could expect me and Tim back here at the same time next week, giving you a report and our own criticism from the Estancia Warrior game. And also, like I said, me and Tim will be in Estancia giving live updates for the Warriors. We hope to see you there if you can make it. If you can't make it, the following week, the Warriors will play Hope Christian right here in Socorro, New Mexico at Eddie Castaneda Field. And always remember, when it comes to a place like Socorro, only Warriors survive. This has been Warrior Talk. I'm Moises.
Tim.
And we'll see you next week.
Go Warriors.